When we talk movement, Lexi is one of those ones that we had to bring up. When we lost Stella early in the year, she was averaging 27 to 29 kills a game. And if you know anything about volleyball, that's huge. And when you lose your top scorer, you have to find a place to go. Well, we weren't really sure what we were going to do. And then the Lance Cruz North game happened. I'm sorry, Lance Cruz Central game happened. And if you were at the Lance Cruz Central game, we were kind of in a position right before that where we had to find someone. And the match prior to that, we watched the JV, and Lexi completely dominated that game, had about 19 kills. I forget which team it was. Do you remember which team it was, Rachel? I can't remember who we were playing. Was it Port Huron, maybe? I don't remember either. So, immediately after that performance, with Stella's injury then becoming concretely a 3 to 4 week problem, I mean that in the nicest way, okay? We had to find a solution, and the way she was playing, we pulled her up. So she came up, she played the first time she ever went into the game. She was really nervous. She went out there, everybody was screaming and yelling, and she missed. But when I put her out there, we were handling the lead, and I knew she was gonna miss because she's a sophomore, and it was a big moment, and it was a loud crowd, and she came out after the game and looked devastated. And I said something to you after that game. Do you remember what it was? I know I said to her after the game, I said, what are you upset about? She's like, I got my shot, coach, and I missed. I go, Lexi, it's the first time you've ever been in a varsity match. Nobody's perfect. Watch what happens next week. Well, the next week, Lance Cruz Central happened. And if you remember, we were finding our way. We had lost our libero. We had lost our outside hitter. I was playing a group of all sophomores and one junior on the floor at one point in a varsity match with one practice. And we needed something. It went to a fifth game. It went to 14-14, and Lexi rotated in the game. And all of a sudden, it was like somebody shot her out of a rocket cannon. She was jumping 3 feet above the net, tipping balls, hitting them. I believe on one volley, she tipped her, hit 3 or 4 in the row. The crowd was going crazy. Everybody was going nuts. And she finished the game and won it. Now, she don't remember it all, but I walked up to her after that game, too, and I said, I told you. So that's the power and tenacity that she has, and that's the future she can have here if she keeps working at it because, well, losing our big hitter this year, we need to replace her with somebody just as big. So that's the goal that all of you sitting over there should be working for. Got it? Yeah. So, Miss Lexi. Do I gotta do this one? Do I really? Oh. Kylie Pfeiffer. So, I was having a conversation with some parents here about getting old. Who was that? Raise your hand. We were talking about us, how we're getting old and lying when we're eating. Yeah, this really makes me feel old. Kylie is my kid. Yes, I claim her today because volleyball's over. And she's extremely uncomfortable, which is fun for me. Okay? Kylie was one of those kids also with Lexi that had to be pulled up because along with Stella's big hit, she also had one of the county's top serves. And we needed to find points. We needed to find 29 points a game that we did not have anymore. So we moved Kylie up strictly at first because of her serve, which ended up when Allie decided to crack her head on the floor. Thank you. Then we had to use her also in the defensive capacity. Kylie not only came up and did the job I asked her, she never complained about it. She was only serving for us, and she was averaging 20 to 22 points a match for us. That's points. We don't get that very often. She's got a great serve. I have no idea why teams can't handle it. I don't ask. And the only downside is if I did not call for her where to serve, what would happen, ladies? She would scream at me, literally. Because if I didn't call it, it was just a weird thing for her. So as a coach, I'm extremely proud that she came up and did exactly what I needed at that moment. And it meant not playing all the time. It meant not being in the game all the time because she understood what her role was. But her role was extremely huge in all those close victories that we had, and I can't tell you how many times she was the one on the serving line at the end of the game when it was 23-23. And even though we have those moments of being a sophomore and missing every once in a while, 9 times out of 10, there was never an issue, and it always worked to benefit us. And yes, Kylie has been in Lakeview's gym since she was literally released from the hospital as a baby. So this makes me feel extremely old. When my wonderful wife gave birth to Kylie in 2006, we got released from the hospital and left there and came here with her in a baby seat, put her on the stage, and had practice. So literally this kid was born to be at this school because she could have gone anywhere she wanted and chose to be here. And that is also something that makes me proud. Not just to be a dad, not just to be a coach, but proud to be a Husky. So Kylie and right there. Ella, come on down. In case you have not noticed the theme here, this is the sophomore group standing in front of you, which means we get them for another 3 years. Yay! Oh, 3 in my mind. I went to Catholic school, math was not our strong suit. Wasn't. Not where I went. I can write a paper though. You need a paper written? I'm your guy. All right. That's why I married a math tech. Ella. What to say about Ella? She's a firecracker, man. If you've ever watched Ella play, she can completely just tear apart every ball that comes at her and get to every single thing and make some plays that you sit there and go, what was that? But in a good way. And she is going to be, I firmly believe, one of the top defensive players in this county in 2 years. It is going to continue to get better for her as the days go on. And with her ability that she possesses and the work ethic I will demand, yeah, you notice that look, right? She is going to be a really great addition to this team that we're going to be relying on, an anchor. And we are blessed to have 4 really solid athletes that are going to be coming back and leading this program for the next couple of years. And that's what we aim for here. And Ella, you're going to be a huge part of that. You're one of the only freshmen last year we brought up as a freshman. And if you've ever seen her serve, it's killer. And we've talked about why we let you serve first, and I think you were starting to figure that out towards the end of the year because you were ripping off 8, 9, and 10 points, including in that last match against Grosse Pointe North. So, Ella, keep cracking, and I want you to be one of the top players in 2 years, understood? Yes, Miss Ella. The quietest and most dangerous person on this team. Irene, come on up. What to say about Irene? I had this thing with Irene, whenever she was in the game, I would tell her she had to be tough, and you'd see me on the bench going, right? Perfect blank face. She could be a great poker player. You never knew when she was super excited. You never knew when she was upset. She just went out there and went to work. And this kid and the reach above the net was amazing. Amazing. You would just sit there and go, huh, wow. I wish I could have like 5 more of her. It would be awesome. But we don't, and we are very lucky to have such a great middle blocker coming back, a great middle hitter, and somebody that's got a big future in this sport. And a quiet storm is kind of the way I relate Irene. She's quiet, you don't know she's there, and then all of a sudden, the heavens opened up and she's dropping lightning everywhere. And that's what Irene is to this team. And Irene's kills this year were so helpful, especially when we needed to relay those points because our middle hitter stepped up, and Irene, you answered the bell, and I am so happy for you and so proud of you, and I want to see even more out of you next year. So, Irene, great job. Miss Madison, come on down. Maddie, let's see. She's so cute. Maddie is the kid who you think is really quiet, But I hear your mom shaking her head. But somehow I think she's not as quiet as we all think. And if you ever watched her on the bench, she was the one that was making people laugh constantly. Constantly. And all of a sudden, I'd be walking around and all of a sudden Maddie'd be standing in front of me with the camera going, "Hey, Coach Tom," and I'd be like, "What?" Click. I don't even want to know where any of these photos went. I'm really scared. And you'll probably see some of them here later. But as far as TikTok. So as far as Maddie goes on the floor, Maddie is not the tallest person on this team, but has one of the biggest hearts when it comes to getting her hand on the ball. Because that little body would be flopping around on that gym floor, touching balls that you never thought were even possible for her to get to. And I think she even shocked herself this year because she started to believe a little bit of what we were all telling her, and all of a sudden that belief turned her into a very, very, very good player and a huge part of this team. But don't stop. You got more in you. I want more diving, I want more digging, I want faster feet, and I want more laughing and better pictures in the future. Miss Maddie. Drew, come on down. That could be a new cheer for next year. Drew. Every time she scores. I like that, parents. Remember that one. So Drew is another player that kind of came out of nowhere with us this year, meaning she came back after a year off and you could tell she had completely dedicated months into improving after the off season. She came in the tryouts and started ripping balls left and right, and we're like, what happened to that kid? She don't look any taller, but she's jumping a lot higher and she's hitting a lot harder, and we're like, okay. And next thing you know, not only is she making the varsity team, which if you talk to Drew, I don't think she was very confident walking into that meeting. And I looked at her and said, why? Do you not see what you're capable of? We do. And if you watch Drew this year, she was rock solid as a right side hitter for us. She is one of the few right-handed right side hitters that can hit line. She was a very smart player at the net and started blocking quite a bit against some huge hitters the last 2 weeks of the season. Helped shut down some of the best hitters in this county the last few weeks of the season. And she even started doing more than I think she was capable of. But I got news for you. I'm not surprised. So, with that, she is also a rock solid kid with a great heart, who other kids in this program look up to and will always come and talk to. She kind of took charge and ran away with senior night and helped put things together last minute and was kind of the unsung hero of just kind of taking the reins and going. And that is a great leadership quality that I appreciate, and that is something that we preach here, and we love that our students like to take control and do things. And that is what Drew is, and that is what Drew started last year in her endeavor to be here on this team. And that's what she did all season. And one of the biggest and happiest surprises for us as a coaching staff here this year was Drew. So, Drew. Tessa, come on down. So looking at Tessa and Drew, you would never think starting outside and right side hitters on varsity when you look at teams like Dakota, and you look at teams like Anchor Bay, and you look at some of the teams we even played this year, because we were outsized by everybody. But yet at the same time, it didn't matter, because our hitters were equaling just as many kills as most of those big hitters that were out there. And it's because they worked hard on technique. They worked hard on being smart. Our hitters were very good about not swinging into the block. We trained them relentlessly. We talked about it. They scored a lot of points hitting off the sides of hands this year. We had to teach Tessa a little bit of finesse this year. She's more of a grunt player. She just likes to hit. Well, we had to teach her a little bit of finesse goes a long way to help that hitting. So then at the end of the year, she started working roll shots and tip shots and faking the big swing and dumping short middle. Scored a couple points that way in the district finals. She's shaking her head going, yep, I should have done it sooner. I should have listened to you, coach. So she's added an element to her game this year that is going to only help us next year. And I know going into clubs, she's going to even keep on working with it more. And another great example of a heart of gold. And I absolutely love Tessa for everything she did for this team this year. The fact that when she wasn't in the game, she was still in the game because she was coaching up the young kids that were coming out and she was trying to help them. And never once did she break a sweat or think twice about what her job was on this team. And as a coach, that's just something that is special that you hope all your kids have as you come through. So Tessa, I thank you for that and congratulations on a great year. Well, there's really no describing this kid other than Sam, come on up. So Sam, aka Sammy, aka Samantha, aka if you've ever watched this kid on this team, she sort of became the heart and soul when the injuries happened with this group. She just kind of took the reins, kept everybody grounded, kept them from panicking, and then all of a sudden she's out there playing one of, 4 different positions that you played at this year. Whether it was outside, whether it was middle, whether it was back row at one point. She kind of just did what we expected her to do. We give all the kids expectations at the beginning of the year. And her expectation was, you have to be able to play multiple positions for this team. And she goes, okay. Most kids be like, what? Okay. Sam, no, you understand, I need you training at all these positions because there may come a time this season, which unfortunately there was, when injuries can happen or something could go down, and you're gonna have to go in the game and play that spot. Okay. You sure? Okay. All right. Sure enough, that's what happened. Not only did she end up going in those games, she ended up becoming the leading scorer in several of them. She ended up having, I think, averaging 7 to 10 kills a match for somebody who was averaging maybe 2 to 4 last year. And she was doing it against some of the best teams. And Sam is one of the smartest hitters I think I've coached in a long time. One of the strangest swings I've ever seen, honestly. But it works for her, so we don't change it. And she fine-tunes it, and if you've ever watched her pick holes, those of you that followed the volleyball program, she was the kid that would go out there, I'd walk up and go, hey Sam, I want you to hit the ball right in that corner, right in that little 2-foot area. Guess what her answer was? Okay. So what happened? She goes and does it the next play. Hey Sam, I want you to take the ball and fake like you're going to swing as hard as you can, you're going to hit it across 11 mile, and at the last second I want you to tip it short middle. Okay. She go do it, the next point, score. She was the reliable kid that I never worried about. I could walk over, because she's so coachable, and say, hey, I want you to run as hard as you can through that wall and don't slow down at all. And she'd go, okay. I was just kidding, don't really do that. Unless you're going after a wall, then it's okay. And that's kind of what she became to this team. The perfect example of what it means to be a team player and do whatever your team needs you to do. On or off the court, she was there for you. On or off the court, she would never tell you no. And on or off the court, she will always be there for every single one of these kids, older or younger. And that is an outstanding trait and probably my favorite thing about her. So, great season, kiddo. We appreciate it. And we are now bringing up, still with 2 legs, because they didn't fall apart this year, Millie. Millie, for those of you that are not familiar, is the setter on our team. And I say it all the time, the setter is one of the most important positions on this team. For those of you dads that are out there going, what's a setter? It's like the quarterback on a football team. Does that help you? Okay, I get a couple shaking their head, yes. It's like the Tom Brady of our team, right? You lose Tom Brady, the Bucks stink. New England stinks. We lose Millie, we're in trouble. because she was the only setter that we had. Now, yes, we had people with hopes and dreams, Ella and Abby, of becoming a setter, but that wasn't their main job. I needed them to do their jobs. So all season, we were worried about Millie because you see her out there with the robo brace leg, right? I used to wear that thing. We talked about it many a times. I know what it's like. And you were always like, oh, Millie, because the other setter that was supposed to join us decided not to play this year. And I walked up to Millie after tryouts, and I'm like, you're it, kid. You got this? It's a lot of work, especially in that last week when we played like 6 out of 7 days. Never once did this kid complain. A setter runs on average in 5 games, 8.2 miles. And it's not a jog. It's a sprint. Imagine doing that 6 out of 7 days in a row, no rest. Imagine being the only setter on this team and knowing how important you are to our team. And even when she was hurting, yes, I knew you were hurting at times, she would play it off that she was fine, or she would just say, it's no big deal, I've had worse. I don't think Millie missed a game this year. Did you? Not a single game. That is amazing for one person in that position. Having said that, setters are always the unsung heroes. They don't get the big swings, although Millie did get some big blocks this year. Yeah, okay. If not for her ability to set that ball up to our hitters, who were some of the best hitters around, our hitters can't be successful. And the way that she presented herself throughout the season and never panicked, and even on the 1 or 2 games where things were getting crazy and we got her to calm down, she went back out there and handled business like a champ. And that's what she is. She's a champ. She's the kid you want on the floor when you need things done. And I'm very thankful to have her back next year. And I see big things ahead for her as well. So, Millie, thank you very much. As your hitters also, thank you. Oh boy, this one's gonna be hard. All right. Abby. So when we talk about players coming back and be coaches, I know that Rachel already discussed this. This kid right here is going to be one phenomenal coach. I don't care what sport it is. I really don't. If you ever watched her, that game that Rachel let her take over, she's not gonna like to hear this. It was like watching me. She's up and down the sidelines. Hey, you gotta do this, you gotta go here. No, you gotta back up there. Hey, you gotta jump. And I'm standing there watching Abby coach on the sidelines going, oh boy. And it was crazy to see, but at the same time, I loved it. Because it shows the emotion and the passion she has for this game. Abby didn't get a lot of playing time last year. It was rough, and then the season got cut in half on top of that. So we lost that. So this year, Abby wasn't sure what to expect, and I told her, you're gonna be a huge part of this team and score me tons of points. And she became statistically one of my other top servers on this team. Her number one job was to go in the game and serve me 7 to 8 points. She probably did that 95% of the time. No joke. And smart player understands the game. You can't coach understanding and seeing the game in slow motion, and she does. And that's why she's going to be a great coach someday. And the things she did for this team, I think even shocked you. I think you were way more surprised about this season than you were expecting. And I'm so happy and proud for you. And your magnetic personality is just going to be so sad for us to lose. So that means when you're ready to coach, you come back and see me. Just say it. So with that, one of my 3 wonderful seniors, Miss Abby. My next one, Allie Hill, come on down. Well, don't fall. This isn't a volleyball court. C's a rep. That's bad. So Allie, what to say about Allie? I don't know, Mom. What should we say about Allie? Yes, your mom's crying. Right? So Allie started as our libero her sophomore year. She has been libero since then. She has a tenacity for this game and being a defensive player like nothing I've ever seen. Like my daughter, not only does she have to deal with me as a coach, she has to deal with a parent who's a coach. Not an easy job, but she loves you. And us as coaches and parents will tell you we are probably the worst coaches to have because we're always tougher on our kids. But I'm going to tell you what, tougher has made her who she is. She is fierce. She is taking on hits from girls that are Division I players this year, especially in that Grosse Pointe North game. She is not afraid to take on a 75-mile-an-hour volleyball coming at her face. And we learned very clearly she's not afraid to smack her head on the floor either. Was not my favorite moment. And the 3 years that you've given to this program have definitely rubbed off into the rest of the group that is standing up here. And you're being rewarded for it because of that with the news you gave me yesterday. Am I allowed to say it? Okay. So, I was informed last night that Allie has verbally committed to play college volleyball at
Westfield State University. It's in Massachusetts.
It's only like 10 hours away. So if anybody wants to go get some king crab or some lobster and check out Massachusetts, we have a place to go watch her play. And road trip, I like it. And that is a huge accomplishment for anybody to play at any level in college. And I am so proud of her. I am so proud of her family that is all sitting up here because they have busted their butts to help her get there as well. They've put up with her. They've put up with me. They've put up with each other. They've put up with the recruiting process. And last night was probably the moment it all came together for you, didn't it? And that is really just a cool thing, and I'm so proud of her, and you deserve all of it, and I'm just so excited, and they better live stream those games so we can watch. All right, so Allie. All right, everybody, thank you for coming tonight. It's been a great... Oh, wait, that's right. We got one more over there. Somebody that needs no introduction, because if you ever hear him announce her name at games, it's ridiculous how loud people get. And that is Miss Stella Mulrennan. So Stella and Allie, both as sophomores, were with us as varsity players. So they're like besties, if you can't tell. And, well, you heard the applause just now from the players and the parents by calling her name. You heard the same thing at the volleyball games. It was absolutely crazy to hear how people cheered when they would call her name. Because if you know anything about Stella, she don't like the limelight. She's not the person looking for the applause. She's not the kid that wants to be recognized. She wants to be a leader and a team player. And for her, I think that was a little weird when it started taking that role where people were coming to see her do the things she was doing, or the first time college coaches were coming in a gym and watching her play. And I remember her as a sophomore coming to practices on the varsity and playing in the games and jumping so high and swinging so hard and hitting the back wall of the gym every time. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, I'm gonna get that kid to hit down someday, and she's going to be a beast. All of a sudden, her junior year, she started taking off, and then COVID hit, and we lost half the season. Then I followed her through club, and it got better and better. And then this year came around. There's a reason this team adopted the motto, sweat check. It's because of Stella. Yes, because she sweats a lot, that's true. But it's not about the sweat. It's about how hard this kid works. There was never a play in practice or a game that this kid wasn't working. This kid worked so hard, she didn't even know she had a 2-inch tear in her abdominal wall and played for 3 weeks on it because it didn't hurt that bad. And the trainer cleared her. Only later did we find out how bad it was, and she had to take a 3.5, 4-week hiatus. And if those of you that attended the first tournament after Stella got pulled and benched because of her injury, all she did was cry for 4 hours watching the games because she wanted to play. That is the heart this kid has. All of my players sitting in here, I hope, whether you're varsity, whether you're JV, whether you're freshman, I hope you saw that mindset and you all take a piece of it and put it in here. Because that's what makes her a great player. Physically, mentally, and the leader that she was for this program was apparent. Luckily, we have another Moren coming up. Is she here today? I like embarrassing her so much. Is she 8th grade? She 8th grader. And she looks just like her. Mom, Dad? Mom, Dad. She's taller. Mom, Dad? Whatever you do with her, do it again. Okay? And I do have to say that as much as I would love to take credit for the way that this kid has turned out, it is all from home. Because if you've ever met Mom and Dad, you know exactly why Stella's the way she is. She is just a great kid, a phenomenal student, well over a 4.0. There is never a day that this kid isn't excelling in what she's doing. And she's a heck of a hostess at the Italian restaurant on Harper. She gets me great seats when I take my wife on a date, which I usually owe her about 25 after volleyball season. So anything this kid touches just takes off, which tells me in the future, when you're a millionaire or whatever you're ending up doing, because you're going to be running the show somewhere, don't forget about us little people back here at Lakeview. Got it? Stella, we are so proud of you, and this program appreciates all of you. Yeah, all right, so we have some plaques that we give out. These are voted on by the coaching staff. We also we talk to some parents, we talk to some kids, and then we use statistics for a lot of it too. Lakeview High School's varsity offensive player of the year actually is not going to a hitter, believe it or not. This year, it goes to the person that fed them with some of the highest numbers of assists we've ever had. And if it wasn't for that quarterback, our hitters wouldn't have been as great as they are. So your offensive player of the year goes to Center Millie. Most improved, one of my favorite. Well, this is easy. I don't even have to say it. I've already talked about her enough. Abby, come on up. Defensive player of the year goes to the person with the most defensive digs, the most serve receptions on this team, the ball hog of ball hogs, which is what they're supposed to be, and that went to our future college volleyball player, Allie Hill. So this award is also one of my favorite awards. This is the Varsity Volleyball Total Team Player Award. The kid that will do everything for the team, no matter what it is, no matter how crappy a job it is, no matter how great a job it is, no matter how boring it is, no matter whether they understand it or not, they're still going to do it for you. And the total team player goes to Sam. Our next one goes to the Husky Hustler Award. And obviously this one was pretty easy to pick. We named Sweat Check after this person because of her work ethic. Your Fair Safe player, Gatorade Player of the Year is a junior. Well, we'll talk about some other things here in a minute, but your Husky Hustler Award goes to Stella. And well, the MVP of this team was a no-brainer. You hear it in your own applause. You hear it in the crowds every time she swings. You hear it in her own teammates when they talk about her and they light up. Your 2021 Most Valuable Player for the varsity is Stella Morenes. All right, we are big on traditions here. Hold that for me. Just hold it up. We are big on traditions here. And way back when, we actually have a second plaque that's being made because we have so many names to add from the last couple of years. This is the Lakeview High School Crushed Volleyball Award. We started this to award the hardest kill of the year because it was kind of just something extra for the kids to work for. They wanted to get this award. I want to get the big kill. I want to hit the girl in the face and break her nose. I mean that in the nicest way. I wanted to have that, just that swing where when the crowd sees it, everybody goes, ooh. Okay? Well, one of these was easy because she had so many of them. This year and last year, the Crush Volleyball Award for 2021 goes to Stella. But we're not done because, well, we're giving away 2 this year, which we've never done. And this one is going to go to, well, it was the hardest hit of the year. And, well, she took it off her face. And not only did she take it off her face, it went back over and she scored the point off her face. And what turned out to be a huge win for us. And that player for the Crush Volleyball Award this year goes to Sam. Way to use your head, kid. Way to use your head. All right. So we have some other things to. You guys can say yours. Yeah, you can say that now. I need this in first. All right. So we have some awards to give out that came from the county and the conference and the state. So we're going to start out with the Macomb County Volleyball Coaches Association has a huge meeting. I go in there with all my player stats. I do player profiles on them. I go in there and I fight and I scratch and I claw and I come home every day mad. You can ask my wife. I'm not happy. Usually I have to drink a beer or 2 because I'm so mad. Because we have to go up against Dakota and Chippewa and Anchor Bay and all these big schools who think they should have like 7 people on all the teams, and us little schools always seem to get knocked around. But I go in there and I'm not afraid to street fight. And we actually did pretty well this year. So the first award that I'm going to pass out, the honorable mention All County. Even though they wrote it wrong on here, they got to fix this. You're not a middle attacker. You are a defensive specialist. Goes to Ella Jensen. I already have you saying the right one. She'll probably want to keep the middle attacker though. They're already saying the right one. Okay. So the next award, there's actually 2 that this person was awarded. The first award came from the Macomb Area Conference Blue Division, which would be our division. And this is voted on by coaches from our division, not including me. You can't vote for your own players. And the honorable mention, all-conference player, goes to Autumn. Don't go anywhere. I said there's 2 awards. Also in that meeting, voted on by all the coaches in Macomb County, Autumn is also honorable mention all Macomb County as well for middle hitters in the county. But we got more. So we were also awarded Macomb Area Conference Blue Division honorable mention. Now remember, your record in the division determines how many spots that you get, right? So the first one, but not really as high as it should have been, if our record would have been better, goes to Allie, our libero. Macomb County Volleyball Coaches Association, 3rd team, top 27 players in Macomb County, goes to Allison Hill, defensive specialist. And the other ones, First team, all conference, went to Stella. And second team, all Macomb County, top 16 players in the county goes to Stella. And two of my other awards that I have, I gotta set them down so I can read them. I was notified this morning that Academic All-State Awards for top academic athletes in the state of Michigan goes to Allison Hill and Stella Mulrennan. So I have not officially been notified yet, but I have it on good authority that our team grade point average will make this team academic all-state as well. Which again, we're student athletes. Students first, athletes second. And when your teams can win these kind of awards, that makes you even more proud as a coach because I know how demanding I am with them. So, before we move on to our last two traditions here, I do want to say this to my team. Way back when, in the beginning of the summer, when we all started meeting and going to summer leagues in 100-degree weather, and going to Fair State Camp and loving every minute of it, you told me that this team was going to be more than a team. You told me they were going to be family. Every day I walked in the gym, I felt like that. You truly were like family. Did we have our moments of dysfunctionality? Sure. Every family does, right? But in the end, you made the word family mean something to this program. When myself and Coach Jen started here way back when, we always said this was going to be a family-oriented program where we take average athletes and get more out of them. Because we know we don't have 4,000 kids to pick from. You took that to a whole nother level this year, and all of you should keep your heads high and understand the accomplishments that you have made this year in a really tough division, and how happy and proud you've made me to be your coach, and how much I'm going to miss those of you leaving, but how excited I am for those of you that are coming back. And whenever you're given a chance to take a shot, take it. Whether it's here at volleyball, whether it's when you leave here and go to college, because this group has proved time and time again, including in the epic battle at districts where you guys played out of your minds against an unbelievable team, and you hung right in there with them when they didn't even give you a glance. That should tell you everything you need to know. You have surpassed my expectations. You have made me love being a coach more than ever again. You have brought my energy level up to what it used to be. And a lot of you motivated me to get healthy, believe it or not, last year. And that was a big part of it too. So those of you that were part of that every day, I thank you for that. Those of you that were coming up saying, you should try these veggies, Coach Tom, you should try that. The steamed carrots, yes. Yep, that was Allie's. And those of you that helped me on that journey, I will never forget it because you've made me a better person because of it. So as much as I try to be that for you, you've done that for me. I thank all of you for it, and I can't wait to see what comes in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, your varsity volleyball team.